The new specification came in 2015, and we realised that we couldn't cover all topics in the time that we had. 30 weeks, 3 hours a week, it just wasn't enough. Before we started with flipped learning, we had maybe an old school approach. It's very teacher-led, very chalk and talk. Integrating the flipped learning was a bit of a challenge. It needed quite a large redesign of how we delivered maths. We went from a situation where we would deliver maths in the first instance and then give homework to them doing the homework, aka the flipped learning, which would lead into the classroom activity. And the biggest challenge was convincing students that that was worthwhile.
When I first started teaching mathematics up at the Baltic here, there was quite a wide range of behavioural issues, ranging from low-level disturbance in the class to some, big eruptions and students not coming in purely because of the fear of mathematics.
One of the core points to flipped learning is that it's about student responsibility and autonomy. And if they come into class with some prior knowledge on what could naturally be a very difficult topic for them, then that helps them to engage within the class. So they benefit academically, but they also benefit in terms of their confidence and self-efficacy.
I feel like when learning stuff ahead of time, it means even if you don't understand it, you know you don't understand it, and you can sit and go with Sans. I understand this bit, it's this bit I can't just grasp. And not only does it make our life easier because we're not reviewing something we already know, we're just learning what we need to learn, and it also makes Sans a lot easier as well because he's not going to teach us something we already know, he's going to want to teach us something we don't know.
The second session of the week is what we call a Prove It lesson, which is our assessment. So this is assessment for learning based on the flipped learning and the first session. So in that session, students will complete what we call a Prove It, which are exam standard questions to assess their knowledge in exam preparation for that topic. We really robustly track that, and the learners are involved in that tracking process, so they'll self-assess or they'll peer assess or we'll team assess, and those results are captured on a tracking document which the learners have full ownership of, so they can track their own progress over the year, and it also has a predicted grade at the end of it, so students can always work towards either increasing a grade or maintaining a grade. But because the results of each topic are on there, they can always go back and fix an issue or improve an issue, so they're constantly getting better. It's assessment for learning, not assessment of learning.
That's your questions done. That's everything in there. So what you need to be doing now is looking in your books now and going, what do I need to do?
On Mondays, we'll learn about the topic, and we'll also learn how to do certain things for Wednesday when we do Prove It. And they're mini assessments with all the stuff on from the topic. So we'll do stuff on Monday's lesson, then just before we do the Prove on Wednesday's lesson, we do another starter, and that helps us to remember things, because he not only puts stuff that we've learned recently, he also puts stuff we've learned the past 2 months, so he helps us remember it by keep on adding those stuff in, and it helps us improve our scores.
The weekly tasks based on the topic are prescribed in advance, so we will ascribe maybe 2 or 3 videos per week, which amounts to about 10 minutes of viewing. They'll take some notes on that, some worked examples. We'll also ask them 2 or 3 exam standard questions, so that from that process they can arrive in the class with some really good formative assessment.
I think once we've introduced this flipped learning, where the students have their own time to watch videos that I've put together, and as a college we've put together as a proper unit with GCSE Pod, they have time on their bus, on their train journey in, at home, or with their learning support in the college to watch the videos on the topic that's coming next week. And that's a full week's worth of their own learning in their own time, with nobody giving them any grief. They watch the videos and then they answer some questions on it and take some notes. And that's as much as we ask.
Not only can you do it at home, you could also watch the videos on your phone, so you could watch them whilst you're on the bus or if you're going somewhere, and then you're learning new things whilst you're out.
Student engagement is the thing that we try to promote as much as possible, because a student can be able and they can be enthusiastic, but without engagement they're not going to progress. So student engagement, for those who really do buy into flipped learning as a style, is very much benefited by a flipped learning style, because students are in control of their own learning.
I know it's 15 minutes before a lesson and my maths students are outside.
When I'm bored or something at home and I'm not doing anything, I can catch up with stuff I've missed. It's my last couple of Prove It's haven't been as great as the other ones, so I've been going back through trying to somewhat get my skills better.
The data that we get back is student-centred data. So the students will individually know their strengths and weaknesses when it comes to a topic. Their weaknesses form their own outcomes for the session, so that from there students can work independently on their own areas.
Just go on to the ones you can do. Just feel comfortable in it. Don't push.
The role of the teacher changes quite a bit if you use this system. You go from being a teacher standing at the front delivering to more of a learning facilitator, to be able to move around the room and help people on a one-to-one basis, so your communication skills will improve.
Nice one, Matt.
One of the major benefits that we found as a team was that we were able to plan a lot more collaboratively. We would meet every week and plan the next week's learn and make it available for learners, because we didn't need to stand and individualise what we did as much because we weren't stood at the front. So that was a great benefit. We found that is really time-saving, really cost-effective, and really motivating for students to be able to plan collaboratively.
We did a survey in our first year of just me teaching and had on average about 84 behavioural issues, like I say, from small to big. And we decided to do something about it. And we introduced our new model of flipped learning. And within the first year, our behavioural incidents went down to 4, which I think that, if anything, just introducing a flipped learning model to reduce your low-level behaviour issues is fantastic.
If your staff are on board and your staff believe in the system, your students will believe in the system. So it's about upskilling and training your staff as to how to do it, but why to do it as well. I think that's probably the most important point. And once you've got staff on board with a system like this, the sky's the limit.